Charlie Kirk has been shot. He was in Utah giving a speech at a college, and unfortunately I just found out that he's passed away. It is beyond tragic. It's disgusting. It's terrible. It's the worst thing that has happened in American media and politics in a long time. So this violence is not the answer. It is the very worst possible answer. We don't know who did it. And if some of you might have seen an older guy getting dragged away by the police, it turns out they released him. He's not the guy. So they haven't caught the guy yet, but I can't believe he passed away. I can't believe it. So he's gone. And violence is surrender. It's saying that you can't win in the battlefield of ideas. What a terrible, terrible message to send. And that you have to be barbaric and you have to be violent and you have to be a savage and you have to just shut that person down physically because you can't defeat him with your ideas. What a cowardly form of surrender. What a disgusting thing to do. How deeply immoral. This is a terrible, terrible day. Because so not only do I know Charlie, and you could say, hey, he said bad things in the past. Who cares? That's not the point today, okay? It doesn't matter what people said. You never do violence. Never. That's the exact opposite of being a progressive. It makes no sense at all. We're against violence. If you do violence, you're not one of us. You're disgusting, you're immoral, and you're deeply counterproductive. Anytime one side does violence, it makes everyone else hate them, rightfully so. So none of our side should ever do that.
All right, guys. So we got to follow up on what is probably one of the saddest days that I've ever experienced since I started doing this. And it's tough. It really is. Charlie Kirk, I'm pretty sure all you guys know, has been assassinated at the age of 31 by somebody that has not been caught yet. We're going to talk about that because that is big news, right? And we also have to talk about the reactions in the media because there are people reacting just the way that you would expect. Because at this point, it seems like this country may be at a turning point, right? To reference the name of Charlie's organization that I believe will be his living legacy that will go on and continue to be effective at what they do because Charlie Kirk made a difference and that he was very effective, especially when it comes to reaching Gen Z men. And again, it's a very, very, very hard thing for me to stomach. So regardless, we still have to keep on, right? We still have to keep moving. So we got to talk about the liberal media issuing apologies because of the fact that their commentators, who are supposed to be professionals, cannot issue commentary that is responsible on live television on a sensitive situation like this. Because, again, they have that much contempt for people that they have political disagreements with. I mean, you have people practically celebrating on the internet right now. I mean, this is a turning point, right? You have people celebrating this, okay? On the left side of the aisle, that's what they're doing. I'm seeing it everywhere. And it really is a shame. It really makes me sad for this country that this is where we're at. This is where we're at. So, again, Matthew Dowd of MSNBC basically put out this commentary, essentially suggesting that this was Charlie Kirk's fault because he pushed hate speech, aka he said things that they disagree with, that they don't like politically, and they couldn't beat him in a debate, right? It really upsets them, clearly.
But following up with what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Yeah, so MSNBC apologized for this. In a statement from MSNBC president Rebecca Cutler, she says, quote, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. Yeah. And lo and behold, Matthew Dowd has been fired from MSNBC for his Charlie Kirk comments, right? So this guy got fired for, again, reckless commentary. Again, this is where we're at. Again, professionals can't go on television and just say, hey, I'm praying. I hope that he makes it and that this is a tragic event. You know, our country shouldn't be like this. Again, they can't go on national television and give responsible commentary. Can't do it. Dude lost his job because he can't do something as simple as just say, hey, I'm praying. I'm hoping for the best. Speedy recovery. Sad day in America. I mean, like, we have to move on because you also have TMZ. When they first found out that Charlie died, you had individuals in the background who appeared to be celebrating. Again, this is at the exact same time that the president is announcing that Charlie Kirk is dead. You have individuals in the background, again, cheering.
Janet, go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
All right, so is this ready to pull the trigger? We can get Trump cut in a second.
Yeah, so TMZ is saying that no. You don't understand. They weren't laughing at finding out that Charlie Kirk was dead, right? That he actually died because he got shot, and then there was a period of time in which people were speculating whether or not he was going to make it, right? There were stories about how he's stabilized and he's going into surgery, and there's a chance that he could make it. Now, again, he had already been shot. This dude is finding out at the exact time that they're laughing that President Trump has announced that Charlie Kirk has died. And TMZ is saying, no. They were reacting to a high-speed chase in California at that same exact time, according to TMZ in their apology. Take a look.
We were live streaming all day during this tragedy when something happened in our office. As we were reporting the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there were some people in the back room away from our news desk here who were watching a car chase, and they were laughing, they were clapping, and you could hear it out here. And we want to make a couple of things clear. One is that I know these people, and they were not laughing, they were not reacting that way about Charlie Kirk's assassination. They were not. They would not work here if they did.
And that being said, we acknowledge that it was horrible timing. And for that, we are sorry.
We apologize. We apologize that you had to hear that.
And I get why, if you're watching the stream, you may have felt that that's what the laughter was about. We assure you, it was not about that, but it was horrible timing. And
by the way, I get it too, and he gets it because we listened as we were talking.
you can go back and look on the stream. I actually walked off camera to go back and find out what the hell was going on because it was inappropriate for the laughter at that time. But no one was laughing about the Charlie Kirk tragedy.
Nevertheless, we apologize for the way it sounded.
Yeah, you can come to your own conclusion in regards to what actually happened there. I think that everybody kind of knows what was happening. Again, just based off the reactions that I've been seeing, these people don't care. They literally do not care. And at a place like TMZ, where I'm pretty sure is full of leftists, like I don't think any conservatives are working at TMZ. Like, come on. Like, really? You really expect us to believe that that's not what they were doing? That's not what they were laughing at? Again, considering how liberals are currently reacting on the internet about this, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, TMZ. But President Trump has spoken out on this, so let's listen to some of his statement.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
That is a fact. That is a factual statement. Okay? If it's not true today, then it will certainly be true in the near future due to the impact, the legacy that he will leave behind after death, which again certainly is going to influence young men. And he was very effective at doing that. Gen Z, man, he was very effective at doing that. And because of his effectiveness, again, I think that is what drew so much hate from the left, the anger, the vitriol. Again, is because he was effective. He was good at what he did. He was reaching a demographic that Republicans, at least as of recent history, have struggled with. But again, the tides turned during the last 4 years, and that's part of the reason why President Trump won. It's part of the reason why.
To share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that the president was spot on. When you talk about the liberal media, when you talk about their role in this, and, we don't have even a suspect captured as of the making of this video. I don't know, that could change. I'm hoping and praying that it changes. ASAP. But I think most people can reasonably conclude at this point that this is certainly politically motivated. And, you know, again, this type of violence is becoming way too common in this country. So, again, the suspect that they had in custody, right, and this is, I guess, technically the second suspect they've had in custody, has been released. So let's learn a little bit more about what the FBI has put out there about this suspect in custody that is now not in custody.
Let's bring in NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, we just saw this post just a bit ago. The subject that was in custody has been released. What do we know here?
Sorry, Gotti, you caught me mid-communication with sources here, so bear with us. Yes, this is a stunning turn of events. This has been a day marked by confusion, and clearly there is a very wide-ranging investigation happening now, but this is not following what we might typically see. So let me take us back to what was happening at the time of the event. After the shooting itself, of course, law enforcement is scanning the scene, looking for information. There was one older man who was taken into custody by local authorities. We had done some work on him, and he is not suspected in the shooting. He was charged with an obstruction case. Then we learn from official sources of a suspect being detained and believed to be involved in the shooting. That's how it was depicted to us through various sources in law enforcement and government. And then, of course, we had on the record the governor of Utah saying there was a person of interest in custody. Kash Patel, the FBI director, using his social media to refer to an individual as a subject. Other officials, other sources of ours were saying that they had confidence that the individual being held was someone they thought would be, in fact, the suspected shooter. So not just a witness, not just a material person, those kinds of things. We're trying to figure all of that out. Now, after some period of time where we believe there was an attempt at least to question that individual who was detained, now Kash Patel is saying that subject has been released. That suggests that they do not have any compelling evidence to hold that individual right now, because with a charge of this type, a murder and other potential crimes, it would be very difficult to let someone go without probable cause. So this is a surprising turn of events, and we will keep working our sources to try to find out more. Authorities had also said they could see a figure in dark clothing. Earlier, the university said they believe that the shooting took place from a rooftop. There is some grainy imagery that seems to show a figure moving along the rooftop. We don't know if that's the shooter. So hours after the murder, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, sorry, my phone is ringing. Sources will have to hold on a second. Hours after the murder, we're still in a situation now where investigators may be in a manhunt situation, looking for more evidence, more information. There would be other things they could try to do in terms of assessing the wounds sustained by Charlie Kirk in his death that perhaps could give some indication of the type of weapon they're looking for, the range, that kind of thing. So the headline is there was a subject in custody. That subject has been released. Where are we? I don't really know, but we are.
Yeah. So at this point, again, it really sucks that we really don't have anything right now. We don't know anything. The FBI, Kash Patel, has released the subject that was in custody. Now, it's weird. It's really weird because it's starting to look like this was a lot more sophisticated than what it appears to be on the surface, right? Because witness statements suggest that these individuals that were taken into custody, right, these suspects, they may or may not have been decoys, right? Again, this is the original guy that they got, right? Again, there are reports, rumors that you had an individual basically saying that he did it, right? After Charlie Kirk was shot. I don't know if that was this individual. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm just saying that these are things I've been reading. But for whatever reason, they had some reason to believe that this is the guy. Regardless, let's listen to what this witness has to say, because I think, again, what he's saying is very interesting.
Spoke to Charlie Kirk just before the shooting. Let's take a listen.
But after I got done talking to him, I really couldn't exit because there's such a big crowd. So I turned around, and like 10 to 20 seconds later, after I got done talking to Charlie, I saw that he was shot in the neck and that he was squirting blood everywhere. But I was piecing things together, and it was really weird because the second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that. But nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly a setup and that multiple people were involved. So, but prior to that, that's all I saw because everyone was squirming. I didn't see anyone fire a shot. I think it had to come from an elevated position for sure. And I think it had to have been a long rifle based off of how, so Charlie was like 10 yards in front of me from where my microphone was. So even if you have a pistol, if someone was talking about a pistol and all this stuff.
Yeah. So I think that witness is onto something. It could very well possibly have been a setup. Again, in the sense that the two suspects that were detained by police, by law enforcement, by the FBI, they could have set themselves up in order to help the shooter get away. We don't know, but it's strange. It's very strange that they thought they had the suspect twice, and twice it turns out that wasn't the person. So again, this is something that I believe was more sophisticated than what it appears on the surface. And that's why I'm hoping and praying that the suspect is captured soon, right? The actual suspect. So we're going to see. But regardless, again, this is a sad, sad, sad day for this country. And my thoughts and prayers are with the family, the wife, the kids, the friends, everybody that knew Charlie Kirk. So again, we will see and wait for updates. But, in the meantime, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share. A Black Conservative Perspective. Peace.